Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another online maths lesson with me, Mr. Williams. And in today's lesson, we're going to carry on our work on the multiplication tables. And the last few days, we've been looking at the 2, 5, and 10 times tables. And we're going to put that all together today to see if we can solve some problems using what we have been practicing and what we have been learning. So, to begin with, for today's lesson, these are the things that you are going to need. As always, you will need your dry wipe pen and a 100 square, a pencil and paper, and some things to count. Now here I've got some dry pasta. You might have some Lego bricks or some pebbles or some buttons, just a collection, a handful of objects that you can count. And if you've got one, a number line. So pause the video. I think you should be able to collect all of those things in 2 minutes. Off you go. Okay, welcome back everybody, and just a quick recap on the work that we've been doing so far. We've been spotting multiples the last couple of days, haven't we? We've been spotting multiples of 2. Those are the numbers in orange on our 100 square. No, multiples of 2 either end in a 2, 4, 6, 8 or 0. And can you remember what is special about all of those numbers? What do we call multiples of 2? They are even numbers. That's right. If a number is an odd number, that means they end in 1, 3, 5, 7 or 9. They are not a multiple of 2. They're not in the 2 times table. Okay, let's have a look. Multiples of 10. I've coloured those ones in red on 100 square. What's special about multiples of 10? That's right, they all end in a 0. If it's got a 0 on the end in the ones column, then it's a multiple of 10. And finally, our multiples of 5 can either end in 5 or 0. Okay, remember that because that will help you with our first game to get our brains warmed up. So here we are on the racetrack. There's a few racing cars there. Some of those racing cars have got numbers which are multiples of 10. Can you spot them and write them down on your whiteboard? You've got 30 seconds. Time starts now. Now here's a clue. Don't forget, multiples of 10 end in a 0. So look out for numbers ending in a 0. Okay, time's nearly up. How are you doing? Can you spot any numbers ending in a 0? And there we go, time's up. So on our racing cars there, let's see, any of those cars got numbers that end in a 0? Oh, look, the green car, number 80. 80 ends in a 0, so that's a multiple of 10. And any more? The red car has got the number 30, which ends in a 0. So that is also a multiple of 10. Well done if you spotted those and jotted them down. Okay, on to our next one. And next up, we are going to be looking for multiples of 2. Now, there are lots of multiples of 2. Half the numbers on the 100 square are multiples of 2. They end in 2, 4, 6, 8 or 0. They're even numbers. So I've got some pictures now of some flowers, and these flowers have got different numbers. Can you jot down any of those flowers which have got a number which is a multiple of 2? The time has started. 30 seconds. So multiples of 2 end in 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8. Jot down any of those numbers which are multiples of 2. Okay, 5 seconds. And that's it, time's up. Okay, what did you spot? Are there any multiples of 2? Well, let's see. Do any of those numbers end in a 0? Ah, yes, look, on the yellow flower, we've got the number 30, which ends in a 0. That's a multiple of 2. Do any of them end in a 2? Oh, yes, look, on the light blue coloured flower, we've got 22. That ends in a 2. That's a multiple of 2. Do any end in a 4? Oh, look at the white flower. That's 54. That's a multiple of 2. Do any end in 6? No, can't see any. And what about any numbers that end in an 8? Oh, yes, on the pink flower, 18. It ends in an 8. That's a multiple of 2. It's in the 2 times table. 18 is the answer to 9 times 2. 9 lots of 2 is 18. Well done if you spotted those numbers. And on to our last one. We're going to look for multiples of 5 now. Multiples of 5 either have to end in a 5 or a 0. To be in the 5 times table, the number has to end in 5 or 0. So we've got some footballers now. wearing football kits with numbers on. Can you spot any numbers which are multiples of 5? The time starts now, 30 seconds. And remember, multiples of 5 end in a 5 or a 0. Are any of those numbers in the 5 times table? Time's nearly up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's it, time's up. Okay, how did we get on? Have we spotted any numbers there which end in a 0? Any footballers wearing a kit that's got a number with a 0 on the end? Well, I can see our German player, number 20, there he is. That number has got a 20, ends in a 0, so that's a multiple of 5. And oh look, a Swedish player, a player from Sweden, he's got number 10. 10 ends in a 0, so that's a multiple of 5 as well. Okay, any numbers end in a 5. Oh look, here's our player from Spain. He's got number 15, which ends in a 5. That's a multiple of 5. And so has our player from Denmark, our Danish player. He's got 35. That ends in a 5. Our England player, he's got the number 5. He's got 51. He's got 5 10s. Ooh, and a little squiggle now. But it doesn't end in a 5. It ends in a 1. So that is not a multiple of 5. Well done if you spotted those. Okay, on to our first problem of the day. And this question is all about bags of apples. And here we've got 3 bags. There are 5 apples in each bag. How many apples are there altogether? I don't just want to know the answer, though. I want to know, how would you solve it? Can you jot down how you would solve it? Maybe you could do a picture or a number sentence. You've got 5 minutes. I think that's more than enough time. So pause the video, jot down how you would solve it and what the answer is, and then come back once you've done it. See you in a moment. Okay, how did they get on with that? So here we go. Here are our 3 bags of apples. There are 5 apples in each bag. How many are there altogether? Well, in our last lesson, we were doing lots of work on representing numbers by using an array. We could draw an array or we could make an array. I'm going to use my pasta shapes that I collected at the start to represent these bags of apples. So I've got my first bag of apple, there's 5 apples. And then my second bag of apple with 5 more bits of pasta. Then my third bag of apples. So I have got 3 lots of 5. So I could write that down as a number sentence. 3 times 5. And all together, I've got 15 pieces of pasta there, or 15 apples. So 3 lots of 5 is 15. There are 15 apples altogether. Now, don't forget, we can show an array by drawing it. So I could have done it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 2 lots of 5 and another lot of 5. That is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That also shows 3 times 5, which equals 15. So if you did that way at home, well done. Let's have a look at another way. I could use my 100 square, and there are 5 apples in each bag, and I've got 3 bags. So I've got 3 lots of 5. So I could count in 5s. I could do that in my head. I could use my 100 square. So if I count in 5s on my 100 square, 5, 10, 15. That takes me to 15. 3 lots of 5 is 15. I could, of course, use my number line, and I'm going to show 3 jumps of 5 on my number line. So if I start at 0, I'm going to do a jump of 5, and then I'm going to do another jump of 5, and then I'm going to do my last jump of 5 with a funny squiggle, and I have landed on 15. So my number sentence again is 3 lots of 5, 3 bags of 5 apples, and the answer is 15. Well done if you've got any of those ways. Now, you might have thought, well, I just know, I've been practicing my 5 times table. I know that 3 times 5 is 15. That's brilliant. You might have counted in 5s 3 times 5, 10, 15. I got the answer. That's brilliant. Let's try another one. Okay, the next question is all about socks. And as we know, usually socks come in pairs, but they have a funny habit of going missing. And sometimes you only have one odd sock left, but mostly they're supposed to come in pairs. And on my picture of a washing line here, you can only see part of it, which makes this tricky. So on the washing line, there are 7 pairs of socks, and a pair means 2. So there are 7 lots of 2 socks on the washing line. How many socks is that altogether? Okay, remember you can't see them all because the picture goes off the side of the screen. So there are 7 pairs of socks. How many socks is that? Can you show me, jot down, how would you solve it? Thinking of the ways that we have just done. We used number line, we used 100 square, we could have used pasta shapes or stones or counters, or you could have drawn an array, or you could have done it by counting your head. Off you go. Pause the video, come back once you've done it. Okay, let's see how you got on. So there are 7 pairs of socks on the washing line. I'm going to use my pasta again. I'm going to do 7 lots of 2 because a pair means 2. So there's 2 and another lot of 2. That's 2 lots of 2, 3 lots of 2, 4 lots of 2, 5 lots of 2, 6 lots of 2, and 7 lots of 2. So I have got 7 lots of, or 7 times 2. That means 7 pairs. And all together, if I counted up my pasta, I've got 14 pieces. If you've been practicing your 2 times table, you might just know 7 times 2 is 14. Okay, I could, of course, have drawn this array instead of making it with pasta. I could have drawn it like this: 1, 2, and another 2, and 3 lots of 2, and 4, 5 lots of 2, 6 lots of 2, 7 lots of 2, and then I can count up all my dots. 7 lots of 2 is 14. Is there another way we could do it? How many people could use the 100 square? Let's have a little look. Okay, let's count in 2s using our 100 square. Okay, you can count with me, counting in 2 7 times. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Have we done it? Is that 7? Let's just double check. Oh no, we've only counted 6 times. We need to count one more lot of 2. So after 12, 14. So that shows us that 7 times 2 is 14. Is there another way we could do it? Oh, I can hear somebody saying, what about the number line? So here we go. Let's use our number line to count in 2s. I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to do a jump of 2, and another jump of 2. That's 2 jumps of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 jumps of 2. There we go. 7 jumps of 2, and we've landed on 14. 7 lots of 2 is 14. Well done if you work that one out. Which brings us on to today's problems. So, as always, we've got 3 different problems. We've got the one that all of you could do, using the counters to solve problems today. Then we've got the one with the boat, which most of you will be able to do this one. And then we've got another one, which some of you might like to do. You can all have a go at all of them if you like. So let's start off with our first problem. And it says, can you use counters? Now, remember, these are your pasta pieces or your pebbles or your buttons. Can you use those to make an array to solve these problems? So the first problem says, I have 6 pairs of socks. How many socks have I got? And we've got a picture and the number sentence for you. The next one, there are 5 bananas in a bunch. How many bananas are in 3 bunches? That's 3 lots of 5. Crayons come in packs of 10. How many crayons in 4 packs? That's 4 lots of 10. Use your counters, your pasta, to solve these problems and write down the answers. Pause the video if you'd like to do that, which should take you no more than 10 minutes. Good luck. Some of you might like to do this activity, solving these number problems, these multiplication problems. So we have got 6 problems. Number 1, Ben has 5 toy cars. Each car has 4 wheels. How many wheels are there altogether? You can use whichever way you want to solve this. Perhaps you will use the number line. Perhaps you will draw an array. Perhaps you will be able to count in fives. Whatever you do, write out your number sentence and the answer as well. Question number 2. Sam has 7 10p coins. How much money does he have? Question 3. Ants have 6 legs. How many legs do 5 ants have? Number 4. 6 children can sit at a table. How many children can sit round 10 tables? So that's 6 lots of 10, or 10 lots of 6. A pack contains 8 pairs of socks. How many socks is that? If you've got 8 packets of 2 socks, 8 lots of 2, 8 pairs. And last of all, question number 6, 5 cakes are cut into 8 slices. Yum. So 5 cakes, each cut into 8 pieces. How many slices are there in total? If you'd like to try those questions, pause the video here. I'm giving you 15 minutes for that. Take your time. Remember, write out the number sentences each time. Off you go. And on to our last problem. Now, this is all about comparing number sentences. Before I tell you the problem, let's just go through comparing and using our greater than and less than signs. Just to remember a little bit about these, I've got a picture here of some unifix cubes, and we can see if we've got one unifix cube, we know that is less than 3. We can see it's less than 3. If I drew lines to join these up, if I draw a line across the top of those and across the bottom to join them up, we can see that is our less than sign. That's where the less than sign comes from. So the blue cube, there are less blue cubes, fewer blue cubes, and there are red ones. So 1 is less than 3. 1 is smaller than 3. Let's have a look at this picture. Oh, we've got 3 yellow cubes and 1 red cube. If I draw lines again to join these up, well, we can see that 3 cubes, well, that's more than 1. That 3 cubes is greater than 1, and that's what that sign means. That's where it comes from. 3 cubes is greater than 1. 3 is more than 1. I've got one last picture to show you here. We've got 2 red cubes and 2 green cubes. Well, we can easily see that that's the same. If I draw lines joining these up, that's our equal sign. So that's where the equal sign comes from. So 2 equals 2. 2 is the same as 2. So we have to use those symbols to answer these questions. We can see here, we've got 3 times 5 and 10 times 2. Is 3 times 5 less than 10 times 2? Is it more than 10 times 2? Or is it equal to 10 times 2? The way to do this is to work out each side. 3 times 5, 5, 10, 15. Oh, that equals 15. So I would write that in. 3 times 5 is 15. Let's work out the other side. 10 times 2. Oh, well, I know I'm going to swap that around. 2 times 10. 2 lots of 10 is 20. So 2 lots of 10 is 20. I know that 20 is more than 15. It's greater than 15. So 15 is less than 20. So the sign that needs to go in the middle here, 15 is less than 20. So I'd write that sign there. So that's how you've got to solve these problems. Work out each side and write in either the less than, greater than, or equal sign to compare the number sentences. Pause the video here. I will give you 15 minutes to complete them. Good luck. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Let's just go through your answers. So for the first questions, if you did these, let's have a look. 6 times 2, well, that equals 12. 3 times 5, that's 15. 4 times 10 is 40. Well done if you got those right. And on to the next one. Ben has 5 toy cars. Each car has 4 wheels. How many wheels is that? Well, that's 5 lots of 4, or 4 lots of 5, that's 20. Sam has 7 10p coins. How much money has he got? He's got 7 lots of 10. That's 70. And of course, we should really say he's got 70p. And the next one, ants have 6 legs. How many legs do 5 ants have? Well, that's 6 lots of 5, or 5 lots of 6, which is 30. 6 children can sit on a table. How many children can sit around 10 tables? 6 lots of 10 is 60. A pack contains 8 pairs of socks. How many socks is that? Well, that's 8 lots of 2, which is 16 socks. And last of all, a cake is 5 cakes are cut into 8 slices. How many slices are there in total? Well, there's 5 lots of 8, which is 40 slices of cake. I hope that's going to be shared out. And on to our last one here. Let's have a little look. 7 times 5 is 35, which is less than 10 times 4, which is 40. 2 times 11 is 20. Oh, that's a mistake. 2 times 11 is not 11, it's 22. And, oh, it says here 22 is less than 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. So let's just change that. 22 is greater than 20. That was a mistake. Okay, 3 times 10 is 30, and 6 times 5 is 30, so that is equal. Both sides are equal there. 12 times 5, that is 60. 4 times 10 is 40. 60 is greater than 40. Now, 5 times 15, it's not one of the numbers in our times table. It's gone a little bit beyond what we have practiced, but hopefully you've used your brains. You could work this out by going 10 times 5 is 50. 5 times 5 is 25, and put them together. So 5 times 15 is 75, and 10 times 8 is 80. 75 is less than 80. Well done if you got those ones right, and maybe you didn't even make mistakes like I did. That brings us to the end of today's lesson on solving multiplication problems. So well done, everybody. Now, like I've said before, keep practicing your times tables. The more you practice, the better you will get. And you can use your times tables to help you to solve problems more easily. So well done. We've had a super week of maths work, and I look forward to seeing you in our next maths lessons. Okay, goodbye, everybody. See you next time.